Are you serious? Are you serious? Everybody get a cup of coffee and calm down because tonight is Mike from around the world. Okay. I don't know if RoboMom is here or not, but I want to thank her for this great Yeti cup. Man, these things are amazing. They come with this top you put on it, and you could seal it. And man, it will keep the coffee hot for a long time, or it would keep ice cream cold for a long time. What a great cup. And I want to thank you for sending that to me. It's just wonderful. It's nice. Thank you for the gift. That's really nice. Anyway, are you serious? I'm tired of stop. 1984. 1984, George Orwell. Did you read the book? It's really creepy. I remember reading it a long time ago thinking that is insane. That'll never happen. He wrote it in 1948, and that's where he saw the world would be by 1984. Well, the world didn't make it there by 1984, but according to the president of Microsoft, the world is going to be there by 2024. And let me just say something. Let me put a quick shout out right now, noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. Colin Plume was able to get his hands on some gold coins that were in a sunken treasure, a ship that went down and sunk back in the 1800s. There was a chest full of gold coins down there. He got his hands on some of those and is willing to sell you one if you'd like to have one for your coin collection. Just simply go to noblegoldinvestment.com, pick up the phone and call Colin right now. Pick up the phone and call him right now at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347 if you're interested in buying one of those treasured coins. Tell him Pastor Begley sent you over there, okay? Now, let me just tell you what's going on. Unbelievable. Big brother. You know, every move you make, every step you take, every move you make, they are watching you. Seriously, in China, they're doing it already. In China, they have been doing it. And here in America, they pretty well are. Let's face it. It's crazy what's going on. And let me share with you some information. This was revealed by Microsoft's president. He said George Orwell's 1984 society could happen by the year 2024, according to the president of Microsoft. Life is depicted in George Orwell's 1984 could come to pass in the year 2024 if lawmakers don't protect the public against the artificial intelligence, AI technology that Microsoft's president is warning about. Speaking to BBC's Panorama, Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, said it would be difficult to catch up with the rapidly advancing technology. The program explores China's increasing use of AI technology to monitor its citizens. Critics fear that the state's dominance in the area could threaten democracy in the world, and it will. They're going to use AI technology, guys, to implement the mark of the beast system that manages the people. If you don't take the mark, you can't buy or sell. That's according to the Bible in the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Well, who's going to know whether or not you have the mark? Well, it's because there's going to be technological ability to monitor every move you make, every thought you think, every step you take, and it's crazy. It's crazy what's going to go on. There's going to be cameras everywhere. Plus, you're going to have a GPS, all this monitoring. Or you can opt out. And if you don't take the mark, you won't be able to participate in the world society, period. Anything. You'll be homeless in a pup tent along the side of, Skid Row or somewhere in the middle of Washington State forest with the grizzly bears. I mean, you're going to be off the grid, is what I'm saying. That's their plan. I'm just telling you, that's their plan. And maybe worse, like internment camps or be eliminated altogether. Critics fear the state's dominance. That's communism. That's Marxism. That is what Big Brother is all about in China. And it's Apple that actually is building that technology. Microsoft is saying you better watch out what Apple's doing, although I think Microsoft's involved as well. Critics fear that the state's dominance in the area could threaten democracy. If we don't enact laws that will protect the public in the future, we are going to find the technology racing ahead, and it's going to be very difficult to catch up, said Brad Smith, president of Microsoft. Here's a quote. I'm constantly reminded of George Orwell's lessons in his book, 1984. You know, the fundamental story was about a government who would see everything that everyone did and hear everything that everyone said all the time. Well, that didn't come to pass maybe in 1984. But if we're not careful, that could come to pass by the year 2024. And China's ambition to become the world leader in AI technology by the year 2030, which is also the United Nations goal of a new world order by the year 2030. It's called the Agenda 2030 Global Sustainability. And it has tied to a lot of the carbon footprints, a lot of the green initiatives and renewable energy, but it's also has to do with, relentless surveillance upon the populace. And if you, and many consider its capabilities to be far beyond what the European Union is doing. In 2019, China beat the United States at the number of patients secured by academic institutions for innovation in AI. Excuse me, I said patients, I meant patents for AI technologies. So China beat the US. They have secured academic institutions for innovation of AI technologies. 54% of the world's 770 million CCTV cameras are installed in China, according to research by Comparatech. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, who is now the chair of the U.S. National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, has warned that beating China in AI is imperative. We're in a geopolitical strategic conflict with China, he said. The way to win is to marshal our resources together to have national and global strategies for the democracies to win in AI. If we don't, we'll be looking at a future where other values will be imposed on us. Talking about communism. Dr. Lan Yu, who advises the Chinese government, said facial recognition could prove tremendously helpful in identifying people in mass gatherings if there's a major incident. Well, they're using that technology right now from the demonstrations that took place on January 6th. But they're not using it yet on all of the massive citywide, nationwide city rioting and looting and destruction of personal and people's property. They're not using it on that. It is being used on the other. So there is again, when technologies get to a certain level, then it depends who's managing them and how they're used will determine the outcome. China indeed has made tremendous progress in technology development, according to Dr. Yu. He added, the U.S. feels that this is a threat and they wanted to start this Cold War on technology. Although China has huge differences in its values, of course, and politics, the country's vision of the world is not convergence, but coexistence. says Dr. Ku Jin, associate professor at the London School of Economics. China does not seek to export its values. And Dr. Schmidt became an advisor to the Pentagon, and he's the former CEO of Google. And then now he's an advisor to the Pentagon in 2016 while retaining a position as executive chairman of Alphabet, Google's parent company. So this guy works for China, was the CEO of this guy works for Apple. This was former CIA, and now he works in the Pentagon and intelligence and the national security agencies. So we got a guy, this guy is involved in both camps. Is that healthy? In the following years, Google started a contract with the Pentagon, allowing it to use some of its image recognition technologies as part of a military project, but not all. Project Maven used machine learning to distinguish people and objects in drone videos. Maven at the time was a way of replacing human eyes by automatic vision for the drone footage that was being used in the various Arab conflicts, says Dr. Schmidt. And I viewed the use of technology as a net positive for national security and a good partnership for Google. But could there be blood on someone's hands? The project received criticism from Google employees who resigned from the company and petitioned against the company and against this project, saying, "You're putting blood on our hands." Google should not be involved in the business of war, they said. A software engineer, Laura Nolan, said when she resigned in 2018, when she discovered the nature of the project she was working on, I kind of felt like my hands were filled with blood. She argued the technology could be used in future targeting decisions. Of course it is. Not future, it is. And Google said that AI would only be used for non-offensive purposes. We know that's a lie. Before completely withdrawing from Project Maven in June of 2018, 3 years ago. Dr. Schmidt said he felt technology which could help the military make right decisions was a good thing. Well, you have to understand that everything that's ever been created can be used for good or bad. And when you have a world spinning out of control, when you have a world that's trying to create a global governance, when you have a world that people right here in this country screaming they want to be socialists, wanting to be socialist totalitarianists, saying Marxism, they're teaching Marxism and communism in college and high school. Listen, with no idea, refusing to teach history anymore, but teaching this globalist, communist, Marxist, socialist ideology. This is dangerous, obviously, dangerous, just dangerous for everybody involved. And I'm sorry, but it's terrible. But this is where we're at. George Orwell. Now, if you study more into 1984, it was more than just Big Brother's watching you. Big Brother's watching you that you don't break Big Brother's rules. Well, what was his rules? Well, in 1984, look, nobody could have children anymore. There was sex was wide open. You could have sex with anybody you wanted, and was encouraged. Monogamy was actually discouraged heavily. But yet humans were not reproducing anymore because of sterilization and genetic manipulation. So instead, babies were being created in test tubes. And these were synthetically being made through gene editing. Sound familiar? We now, since he wrote the book in 1948, we can clone. We can genetically change the genome of the genes. Then we can artificially inseminate them. They can be birthed by a surrogate mother, a child completely designed to be male or female, how tall, the race, the color of the eyes, genetic makeup, completely designed. We're there. We're past that. We're a lot, guys. That's what we know about. We're past that, believe me. So 1984, the book 1984 by George Orwell, written in 1948. We're there and beyond. So when Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, says that we're headed into this direction, it is critical. It is literally critical to realize just how close we are to the coming of Jesus Christ, just how close we are to the implementation of the mark of the beast. I believe we're just around the corner from Jacob's troubles. I think Israel, all you gotta do is look at the nation of Israel, look at the Holy Land. I think Jacob's troubles is all over us. We're that close. So it's going to be a very interesting evening tonight with Mike from around the world. We're gonna be talking to him about several topics. Heidi's been working on last Thursday night's broadcast, which was phenomenal, where 77 people were saved. And she's been breaking it down and preparing it, where she'll be putting it on Patreon. And as soon as she is completed with it, with a complete analysis of last Thursday's. But we've got this Thursday's coming tonight. Don't miss it. I'll start at 9:30 this evening here from my office in the Salvation Station that's under renovation. What? And I'll see you guys tonight, okay? Now I got 5 grandkids upstairs that I got to go hug them again and again and again. God bless. Give your life to Jesus Christ. And I'm serious. It's almost over. It's almost over.